Hello, my friends. I am here with Liz Linnemeyer here at Wozani Farm in Frederick,
That's
and
right.
we are going to walk around the. Hello, who's that?
We have Zanny. Willa.
Hi, Willa. Willa's going to be with us.
Mhm.
It's one of Liz's daughters, and we are going to have some fun making a bouquet today.
We are. Welcome to the farm.
All right, here we go. Okay, so we're going to make a bouquet as
Mm-hmm.
we go, right, Liz? And
Yep.
let's start off with Wozani. What does that mean? Why I
Yeah.
thought it was your last name for a long time.
So Wozani, I am from South Africa, and Wozani actually means Woza means come or come together. And it is a combination of a couple languages. In South Africa, we have at least 13 official languages. And
Wow.
so Xhosa and Zulu, which my parents both speak fluent in Xhosa, and we grew up in Zululand. So Wozani just seemed like the right word to name our farm. And we just believe in gathering around and making a community. And so Woza, come.
Come. Let's
Yeah.
come, and we're going to
Yeah.
make this bouquet together today.
Yeah.
And so, Liz, why flower farming?
Um, Great question. I started with veggies. I love vegetables. My dad was a tomato farmer back in the day. And I went to a farmer's market, my first farmer's market here in Frederick. And I had all of my veggies set up, and everybody came and bought veggies because it's good for you. And I had a little bucket of flowers that I was selling as well. And everybody stopped to smell the flowers and told a story. And I'm much too romantic for vegetables when I could be a part of someone's memory. Flowers are a veer into I'm still growing, but I am creating a memory and joy. And then on top of that, 80% of our flowers in America are imported from overseas, different countries. So there's lots of fossil fuels and other expenses, and also preservatives and chemicals and everything that you might not want on stuff that you're going to be smelling and touching. And so flowers are, it's just a great circle. So I can grow organically. My flowers love fresh flowers, and it tells a story.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's take a walk here.
Yeah. So typically when you're building a bouquet, you go for a couple different varieties of flowers. You have your air flowers, which are cosmoses and air. You have your discs, which we'll go through next. We have your focals, which I will show you as well. And so I'm just going to cut a couple as we're walking. Let's start. Sherry, do you have a color scheme that you really love?
Oh boy, that's tough for me. I'm into pink lately.
Into pinks?
Yeah,
So pinks,
pinkish. Yeah.
cooler pinks or like a darker?
Both.
Okay,
Both.
let's just go crazy and let's make a vibrant pink bouquet. So I always love to cut deep. And my favorite thing is when I am on the farm and I receive a notification that someone's put through an order, and I can go and cut a bouquet straight from the fields.
Wow, nice.
So you always want some green. This is Artemisia, also known as Sweet Annie, and it has these really beautiful circles or dots that look like little fireworks
Wow.
on the leaf structure, and it smells divine. So I always love to put something that's a little bit scented, because typically flowers don't actually smell that good.
Right.
Yeah, you get roses or marigolds have a heavy scent to them, but a lot of other flowers don't.
And these flowers are all annuals, is that correct?
So we're in the annual field right now, and we will move to the perennial field later.
Okay.
So yep, these are all annuals that you see over here. Sometimes a perennial sneaks in, and then I just move it in the fall to a spot on the farm where I want it.
Are any of these self-seeding or?
Great question. So for the most part, we plant where everything grows, but we did have a couple. This is Atriplex. We had some Atriplex come up that we're just embracing. And within my celosia, I also have some jewels of opar coming up, and they too were self-seeded from last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're really beautiful.
So far, so good. And
Yeah.
what is it I want to say, that what guides you towards the flowers that you choose?
Yeah, I go off of a recipe with spikes and discs. Or are you talking about what I choose for bouquets or to grow?
Or just, let's even start with the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what you plant for the year.
Right. So my love of all is anything drought tolerant. And so I love native plants and I love drought tolerant plants. Colorado water is a very precious commodity. And so my annual fields are smaller and we tend to use a lot less water than the average farmer. We use a covering to protect our water. So when it does water, it stays under the ground.
Got it.
But that being said, I grow my annual fields because I know people love the beauty of the flowers from the annuals, like these precious cosmos. And so I've just from research and figuring out what grows well, that's what I choose. And also what I love the celosias. And so I've got a whole row of these feather top flowers. Yeah, let's make it down this row over here.
Okay. Now you have a tree planted here. What is that? Why?
The tree was here to begin with.
Okay.
And in Colorado, even if it's a plant that loves full sun, it will still love a little bit of shade. This year has been a particularly different year where we've had a bit more overcast and rain, but typically our plants love shade. So at least a little bit of shade. So we kept the tree. We're not cutting it down. We're just going to embrace it in our field.
Zinnias.
So, yes.
I love them in white.
Aren't they great?
Yeah.
They have, like, look at how many layers of petals those are.
Wow.
I don't know. Is that 20? That's big.
I am a zinnia lover.
Yes. And I always love a pop of white goes with everything. So I always make sure to have some white zinnia. And then we have some fun different colors over here.
Oh, I love that. Now, where do you get your seeds from?
Great question. You could probably grab them from the same spots. I get a lot of my seeds from Johnny's Seed Select, and they are a retail company. And so they, anybody can purchase them, and they're great. Oh no. We go through a lot of snips.
A lot of snippers.
A lot of snippers. But there are some wholesale places that we can purchase from, but at this moment we're still a little farm, and so there's no need to buy in bulk for wholesale when we can buy amazing cut flower seeds that you guys can all get if you wanted to, and they're stunning. Most of these, I would say, is Johnny Select.
Yeah, look at those zinnias. Oh,
not this grasshopper.
Oh, those are my nemesis.
Yeah.
And with that, how do you deal with bugs?
My favorite question. Dawn over there is my intern from this year, and she has been helping me through this process. So this year we've had some disease issues and a lot of bug issues, just because it's been a different climate that Colorado's been used to.
Right, a wet year.
Yep. Yeah, so if you look closely at my zinnias, some have something called black spot that we're just pulling off the leaves.
Yeah, there's one of those little grasshoppers.
Yeah. But then the grasshoppers, just recently I sprayed some garlic just to deter them off of my plants. And it seemed as though they appreciated the garlic and they liked the Italian taste.
No,
I know, but I must say, I didn't spray the sunflowers, and there are more grasshoppers on the sunflowers. So I think that it deterred them a little bit from my the flowers that I actually love. But as you can see, we've got thousands of grasshoppers.
Yeah. You know, we ended up in my garden at home. Oh my God, look at that. There is a ton of them on
Yeah.
there. We ended up putting a metal fence around because we have a couple of acres on either side of ours.
Yeah.
And we put a metal fence around, and it has kept them out.
Really?
Because they're crazy in the fields, but they are not inside the metal fence. Yeah.
Yeah, they will lay their eggs, which will survive the winter if you
Right.
have them. And so if you can get rid of them, then you won't get that continuous cycle.
Yeah, and I've got the bucket of soapy water.
Yes. Okay, you need to get down. Willa, you need to hang out with Carolyn for a little bit, okay?
I like
Thank you.
I like the gloves.
Yeah. So this is actually, I put the gloves up here to let our U-picks know that when they're cutting zinnia, this is the last row that they cut from, because we do have some black spot. We don't want that to move to any of the other rows.
Got it. Now, what is that? So explain that to me.
Black spot or rust, it's a disease that comes with humidity. And we've had humidity this year. It can live within the soil. And so what we do is we use a wipe and we disinfect our snips between rows. But you don't always deal with it. This year it's been particularly hard. We're compost tea brewing nearly every 2 or 3 days, and we're spreading that to increase the health of the plant for it to fight the rust damage. And it's happening. If you feel the leaves, they are feeling really leathery.
Right.
And that's from us just giving them good nutrition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What about, another pest that I am dealing with is Japanese beetles.
Oh.
Do you have?
We have only seen 1 or 2 on our farm so far in our growing season. So I hope that it won't get more than that. I mean, I know it will one day. Typically what people do is every single morning with a soapy bucket, they flip the beetles in.
That's what I do.
And we have beetle pressure. It's not Japanese beetles, but we have beetle pressure on our straw flowers, and that's what you have to do with them as well.
Now say that again. It's called?
It's actually a bumble beetle, and I will find one for you. What they do is they produce a sap that kills the plant.
Wow.
Yep. So usually my straw flowers are big and beautiful, and this is my first year I've dealt with it. But let's see if I can find you a beetle to show you what it looks like.
I found some beetles in my garden the other day that they were like gray.
A kind of fuzzy looking?
Yeah.
That might be them.
They have these little black antennas and freaked me out. And they were just on one particular plant.
Yeah, so they only like the straw flower. Wow. And I'm looking particularly where the disease is to see if I can find them. They are here. Here is one. Okay, so if you can see, oh, we got 2. We got a whole family. And you see the flies?
Right.
The flies enjoy the sap. The wasps enjoy the sap that they ooze out, and it kills the whole plant. Wow. So we've dealt with quite a bunch of pressure. However, we're still able to make gorgeous, gorgeous flowers.
Look past the problems and towards what's working.
Yep. Yeah. And we plant with abundance.
So is that one right there?
No. This is not one, no.
What is that?
That is a good question. I love my bugs.
I do too. And
so I often will take a picture, and then I'll figure it out later when I have time to sit down.
I just noticed that the iPhone has added, they have the flower. If you push it up, you can find the flower. They just added bugs to it too.
No,
they did.
I did not know that.
Yeah. All right. Wow, look at these little guys down here.
Yeah.
So pretty.
So pretty.
That is really pretty with the green and the...
This is called a queen lime.
Queen lime.
So we have queen lime, which is a green. Then we have queen lime orange, which are these. And then we have queen lime red, which are just a little bit further. It's these ones with the, yep, and this one.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And these are all zinnias, and for the most part, I think these are all from Johnny's. I may have gone to Baker Creek Heirloom as well for some. Get another orange. I've really been loving the touches of oranges this year.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
I'll grab a green. So our bouquet is starting to get full.
Yeah.
We've only walked up 3 rows. So end of season, I mean, it's starting to get there. Snapdragons were covered in June, but they say that a happy farmer is a farmer that looks out and sees no flowers. And that just means that we get to harvest and that we're on top of being able to sell nearly all that we produce.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you sell direct to the consumer?
Yeah, I do both. We have the ability for our community to order online, and then we just make a bouquet and set it out in the farm stand. And Saturdays, 9 to 12, every Saturday during season, we have the farm stand open with flowers. And we do a CSA. But another love of mine is the local florists. They just love things like celosia that you can't get in from overseas, or cosmos. And so they just
appreciate the fact of what you were talking about, that it's not chemically induced flowers.
Yeah. No chemical sprayed. Compost tea, a little bit of garlic, but no chemicals.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where the specialty flowers start. And we have Lysianthus, which I cleared this out for a bride that had a florist that had a wedding this coming week. So I've got to nearly clear out my flowers. But if you want to squeeze past here, I'll show you the
go to the back.
The white ones.
All these dahlias over here.
Yeah. So we'll cut a couple dahlias. So you may be wondering why we bag our dahlias.
Yes.
And we bag our specialty flowers for one, grasshoppers love the taste of a dahlia petal. They love the taste. So our dahlias get eaten up very quickly. And because they're a specialty flower, they are worth the most on the farm. And so we cover them just to protect every little
So
petal.
As soon as you see them starting to, like this one here, starting to bud, then you'll start to bag them up.
And you can see this one has actually already started to be eaten by the grasshopper. So we're a little bit late on that, but we're waiting for more bags to arrive. So I actually bag as soon as it looks like this.
Like that. Okay.
This is when I'll bag. And you have to be a little bit vicious with your side buds. And you bag over.
Oh, because you can't put them inside as well.
Yeah, and if you cut off the side buds, it allows for a bigger center bloom. So we are aiming for big blooms that give impact and not little blooms.
So like these, the grasshoppers leave alone.
Yep. And there are a couple reasons for that. If you feel the leaf on this one, feel how leathery it is.
Right.
So grasshoppers,
they can't make their way through it.
They can't make their way through it. And that is just the nice thing about a Lysianthus, is that they feel more like a sedum. And so the grasshoppers can't make their way through their leaves, or very seldom do. Hi, Mr. Spider. But our goal is to keep strengthening our other plants, that they will eventually have a strong leaf structure, just like those.
I see.
That the grasshoppers will avoid eating that too.
Got it. And is this the season for the Lysianthus?
It is. It is. Right now is just as they start in, what are we in, August? They start in
Mid-August.
August and they should give all the way through September.
Beautiful.
So
God, they're
they are,
gorgeous.
yeah, aren't they amazing?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that they are native to Colorado, but I haven't seen the writing to back it up. But they're so beautiful.
And do you grow them all from seed out here, or do you start indoors?
Yeah, we don't direct seed anything besides our hyacinth bean vine over there.
Okay.
So hyacinth bean vine
That
are,
is gorgeous.
yeah, they are, and they're just like a bean. They got a nice big bean seed, and they grow super fast. So they and my sunflowers are the only things we direct seed. Everything else we start inside.
Wow. And
Yeah.
when do you usually start?
Zinnias are May. You can do it all the way in March,
Okay.
even April. I probably sowed some later in May too. But things like I don't have them in here. My snapdragons we start in January and February.
In January and February.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's head to the back.
Okay. And what made you decide to make this side the annuals?
Yeah. We started growing in the back first, and when we wanted to expand, we already had the back growing, and so we just put in our established perennials in there, and then with the new field we made this the annuals. But the other thing was I wanted people to be able to park right over there
Oh.
and see flowers, where as much as I love my perennials, they don't give you flowers all throughout the year. They're
Yeah.
quite often just a spring bloomer,
Mm-hmm.
and summer is when people are on the farm. So I want people to see the flowers when they
Beautiful.
drive
And
back.
this is Queen Anne's lace, right?
It is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So now we've got that in the bouquet as well.
We do. Starting to get big and pretty.
So you have, so how long has the farm been here?
We moved here 2018 in
Okay.
November 2018. And so we started growing the following year just with some veggies. That was 2019. That's our farm stand that you're looking at right now.
Okay.
And so we
Beautiful.
deck it out every Saturday.
Lovely.
But we moved into flowers probably 2020, 2021. I think I sold my first bunch of flowers to a florist in 2021. And that was when I knew I could do this. Because she loved the flowers and she walked the fields with us. And it was an experience that I still, if a florist comes to my fields and looks, it makes my heart so happy. Because they just see beauty in things that I had no idea that you could use. Or
Now is this a new building?
this was here when we first moved here. This
It
is
was. I just
actually,
don't remember it when I was here.
yeah, this
last year.
is a, we use this for the homeschool co-op right now.
Okay, got it.
But initially when we moved here, it was a dog kennel.
Wow.
And we were debating whether to renovate our 1968 bathrooms inside the house or renovate this building. And we decided ultimately if we renovated this building, we could potentially bring in some income to renovate our bathrooms. And then my sister-in-law.
So the entrepreneur in you
Yeah.
reigns strong.
Yes. And our bathrooms are still not renovated right now. But another time, another season.
So this is the veggies.
These are the veggies. Yep. They are a little bit overrun, but you can see I've squeezed in some flowers.
Always, right?
Always. And then my kids have their very own flower / veggie row that they pick from.
Fantastic.
My daughter makes tea, so she's got calendula and basil and chamomile. and a couple other and oregano in there.
Love that. How awesome for
Yeah.
your kids to be. This is a new building.
This is a new building.
Wow.
So just erected, finished this last week, but still not inside yet. The inside is still not done. That will be in the future event space / barn. So we're putting the animals in the back, and we'll have a multi-purpose room in the front for us to do any kind of events, like farm to table dinners.
Oh, nice.
Maybe a couple micro weddings in the future. So that is our goal with that gorgeous building over there.
That is exciting. All right.
Yeah. Do you want to walk through the tunnel?
Sure. Oh, the tunnel.
So this is the bean tunnel, and we have some pumpkins growing. By the end of the season is covered all the way over the top.
Wow.
But these beans are delicious. And then inside here is our greenhouse.
Beautiful. That is a dream of mine. So this, did you guys built this?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We, my husband and some of his friends came out and built this. And so it's our second year, I think, that we've used this greenhouse. It was finished just past the season that we needed it, but it was okay because it was ready for the next season. And we start all of our seeds in here.
In here.
I'm guessing at least 7,000, but it might be close to 13,000 seeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And then Marigold likes to come in here because they do
Marigold,
the dust.
how are you?
Yeah. And we use this space as our homeschool room sometimes in the winter because it's so nice and warm in here.
Oh, it's just the greatest. And I do a little seed starting inside, and it's just such like you're almost touching spring, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it's so nice to be surrounded by sun. And
and the warmth of it.
Yeah.
You got some pigs over there?
We do.
Wow.
They are Berkshire. They are the Kirby Jack of Kirby Jack? No. Wagyu of pig, of pork.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah. And they are stinky.
They are stinky. What do you like about having pigs?
Our first year, we had coonies, and we actually used them to help us fix our soils and pastures.
Wow.
And we love that we could do that rotation with them. This year, we thought to expand it a little, but we chose Berkshires, and we realized Berkshires are a little bit more muscular. You do not want to be messing with these guys.
Oh, really? Yeah. I can remember as a kid, pigs chasing us on my grandfather's farm.
Oh, I mean, with our coonies, they were our friends, and we patted them, and I cried when our last one went to market.
Oh.
And these guys, I came in here to help them sort out a water dish or something, and they start eating me while I am alive. Wow. So I get out as quick as I can.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not the friendliest. Or maybe they're too friendly. We have the compost tea. This is our mess area, but we have our compost tea brewing over there. Okay. And that is what I swear on for health of our soils and our plants during growing season. All we do is it's just compost, worm castings inside of a cold brewer that aerates for 24 hours. And then we spread it around the farm.
Wow.
Yeah. So these over here, this is our perennial fields. And we initially were growing these for, and if you look closely, we have a lacewing. She is a mighty bug. And we have an assassin bug.
What is that? I get that in my garden.
You love them. They eat all the bad guys.
Oh, they do? Yay.
Yep. Yeah. And they do bite, but I've only been bitten once when I was.
Really, they bite?
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Wow, that
They have a
is.
big jaw, actually. But yeah, so we love lacewings. Here's another assassin. Another assassin. Yeah,
Wow.
we love these guys. They do well on our farm. Oh, and another assassin right over there.
Do you have, as far as bug, like frogs, do you have a lot of frogs around, or?
We this year, yes,
Yeah.
at least every year we have some frogs, but this year we've had a big amounts.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit too.
And we love them because they eat all of the grasshoppers. And
Yes.
yeah.
Bring them on, and
Yeah.
the gardener snakes too. That's what.
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So down here is where we do our farm to tables, and we have a little bit more of a structured or formal garden that we're establishing. So we have our native anise hyssop. This actually tastes delicious. It's used in teas.
Okay.
It's actually called lavender hyssop, but it tastes like anise. And then between the natives, we've got our rose bushes over here, and these are all David Austin roses. We have the Poet's Wife, which is a more yellow, and then we have Lady of Shalott, that is a peachy apricot. Now,
I don't notice as many grasshoppers back here.
yeah, you're right about that. And I wonder if it's because we have more variety growing in a bigger space.
So it's a little spaced out
Yeah,
more.
up front it's surrounded by grass as well, and the grasshoppers do love pasture.
They do, right. That's what I said, like how we put the metal fence around our pastures, because
Yep.
it seemed to stop them.
Yeah, that's one of the only reasons I can think of.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So peaceful.
It really is. Just use my belt to strip the thorns.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So what I've been an entrepreneur myself, and I've worked with many entrepreneurs over the years.
Yeah.
This takes entrepreneurship to a whole different level.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with so many living things.
Yeah.
What keeps you in check with it all?
Good question. I have ADHD, and so my
As
brain,
do most entrepreneurs.
Right. And so my brain is always jumping here and there and everywhere. And but as well as a mom, I could not only have my identity in being a mom, I felt like I had lost myself because I didn't know what I could do. And so this flower farming allowed me to keep my hands dirty, because I love to be outside and I love to be dirty, and have an excuse to be out early in the morning, dirty. My husband takes care of the kids in the morning. And but I also love people. And so it allows me to see florists and form just a good relationship with them. And so it allows me to dive into all sorts of things. I do none of the book sides. My husband will get the order, send the invoice, send whatever needs to be done, and I can just immerse myself with the people and the flowers.
Sounds
and
like
not have to deal
a
with
match made in heaven.
It is. It really is.
So the man behind the woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your husband's name is Rainier?
Rainer.
Yep.
Rainer. And he actually, this morning, he is out making a flower delivery to a restaurant, because we do flowers for restaurants in Longmont, and it had to be done today. And so he always reminds me, he goes, I'm a part of the business too. I can help. And so I always appreciate.
Is fantastic.
Yeah. He's actually, he gets everything done that my head dreams of. So it's a great partnership.
Fantastic.
That's good.
That is just, this bouquet is just becoming more and more gorgeous.
That's so
by
fun.
the moment.
It is so fun. Yeah, because we don't use a lot of chemicals or pesticides or any of that, you will see some insect damage sometimes, or you might even get a ladybug when you order. And I kind of feel like it's a way of being like, it's real. You're getting real flowers.
These are really organic flowers.
Yep,
Yes.
you're not getting something that's been sprayed so heavily with preservatives in order
Oh,
for
I
it to
love
last 3 weeks before it gets to you. You get to have a real flower with, and our CSA members love that. They see a ladybug or a sweet bug that goes to their house and they say thank you, and it's really sweet.
No extra charge.
Yep, they I love our community and how our community here in Colorado loves nature, because they absolutely get it and they support it. And like this dahlia is so pretty, but sure, it's got a couple insect bites, and so that might not be something I can sell to a florist, but my CSA members take it as like a little bit of pride. Like, look,
Yeah, it's
we,
real.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be perfect.
yep, she grows with nature and not against, and of course that means we share with the insects.
I
Yeah,
am such a firm believer in that. I was in a local nursery recently,
yeah,
and we were talking about Japanese beetles, and the woman
yeah,
who was helping me, she goes, "Oh, I'm just going to go home and spray them tonight." And I'm like, "No, don't do it."
yeah,
She goes, I don't have the patience or the time to do anything else but spray."
yeah,
And that just breaks my
yeah.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when we start spraying one thing, and that's where I am stuck. So traditionally, I showed you the black spot on the zinnia.
Right.
Traditionally, you even organically, you treat with copper, a copper fungicide. Um, my issue with that is, and I might be too romantic about this idea, we'll see in 10 years where I stand, is that we're going to interrupt, if we're going to be killing one thing, one sort of biome on the plants, or one sort of pest using neem oil, even organic, what other pests are we killing by using that?
Exactly.
Even diatomaceous earth. We love it for our chickens, and we keep it in the coop so the chickens can get rid of their mites. But I'm not going to put it on my flowers, because if it's going to kill some bugs, then it's going to kill some of the good bugs.
Right.
And
even the worms and all of that, right?
Yeah, so if I can just make more of a diverse, I've got my roses, but between my roses, I have my lavender hyssop, because I'm creating less of a monoculture and more of a diverse growing patch. I'm going to have less bug issues, because if one rose has aphids, it's not necessarily going to jump to the others, because I've got this great bunch of smelly hyssop that is going to deter them.
Nice.
And so it's just a way of spreading out. You heading out?
Isn't that great?
Thank you so much, Dawn, for your help. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful day.
And so yeah, that brings up a great point too. So you have people coming to help you.
Yeah, every during the winter season, I put a call out for interns, and we do an internship. It's roughly 6-8 weeks. We meet for 2 or 3 hours every Monday morning, and we do an hour or two of weeding or harvesting or whatever needs to be done on the farm, and then we move into education and community. And Dawn was one of our interns. Our internship is done for the year, but she called me this morning and asked if she could come out and help me on the farm.
Nice.
And so it's so collaborative, because we have so many weeds, and of course we don't spray, and so we need to figure out better means, and our community wants to be out on the farm.
Nice.
So it's really awesome that the community supports us.
Win-win situation.
It's such a win-win. Yeah. I feel like it's more of a win-win for us. But definitely the interns that come, they always say that they feel so treasured.
Yeah, she looked like she was leaving with a smile on her face.
Yeah. And then at the end of the year, we have a farm to table dinner here celebrating our interns.
So you put up...
We put up tables. We have our PVC pipe is where we stick all of our tall poles, and we do zigzag lights all the way down. and it's just a great celebration. And we cook up a feast.
Fantastic.
And yeah.
And where did the vision for this barn event center come from?
Yeah, we always needed a barn on the property because we have animals. You'll see our horse in a little bit, and we have sheep and llama right in the back. And so we've always needed a barn. They've had to deal with just lean-tos, and that is fine. But our llama is about 26 years old.
Wow.
So she's older and she can tell it. And so it would be really good for her to have a
more winter
friendly place.
Yeah.
So we always knew we needed one. But our idea again with the entrepreneurship is that if we're going to be building a building, let's make it generate an income.
Yes.
So we have built it as a second story over there so we can have an Airbnb or...
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, when my mom visits and my parents
our
visit,
mom, yeah.
Yeah, they will have, because we have a little house. It's little. I don't know if it's more than 1,000 square feet. So we have a little house, and when people visit, we want them to feel like they're not intruding. But when the kids are like, "You're in my room," it's hard for them.
Yeah.
So we have place for guests, but then we also will have an Airbnb when we don't have guests.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now is this vegetable patch new?
It is, since you were here.
Yeah.
This is actually a gift to my in-laws.
Wow.
One year, my mother-in-law just was talking about how much she'd love to farm. And so we laid out a little patch for her, and we said, "Merry Christmas."
Wow.
So this is her piece of land that she gets to.
And did she put the cedar blocks in? And
yeah, and they will be increasing the blocks every year.
Cinder blocks, I guess.
Yep, but they have incredible vision, and yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And this must be your better half.
It is.
The other partner to the team.
Yeah.
I'm Rainer.
Hi, Rainer. Nice to meet you and have you on camera with us. If you could stand close to your lovely bride there. And yeah, we've just been admiring your new building here.
Oh yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
Excited to have it done finally.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take you inside. And then we'll complete the bouquet in just a minute. But yeah, we have this patch over here, and then in the grand scheme of things, everything is still young because we've only been farming. I don't know if I told you that everything back here was just overgrazed horse pasture.
Oh.
So it was just goat heads back here. And so everything that you see is what we have built up, and still young, but the trees are going to get big, the bushes are going to get big. And down here, we're going to have a beautiful path to our apiary. Is that what you call it? So where the bees are. And we're going to have 2 gorgeous rows of high bushes. And so you're going to walk down here into a gated area that's going to have our bees. So we want to create an experience for people when they come.
Right.
They get to go through gates and get to get lost in little garden rooms.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Our high tunnel is new for the year or season. It's just to elongate our growing season. And
so when the frost comes, or just to keep it out of the sun?
Yep, it's for when the frost comes. They will still be growing. That is the goal.
That is the goal. And then more here too.
More here too. We can't get enough. So we have our little pumpkin patch growing back here. And then some gladiolus.
And here the grasshoppers are back.
Here the grasshoppers are back. They are. And you know what? This soil is so dead over here. But where we were looking earlier, we've been working on that soil for like 3 or 4 years since moving here. And in the front, it's only our 2nd year growing. So I wonder if it has to do with our soil health as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then the gladiolus back here.
Yep. And they are doing terribly. So I know that our soil is not good.
Got it.
We're also growing millet. And this time last year, our millet was over our heads.
Wow.
So the soil back here is completely dead. And that just means we're going to work
More
hard.
work to do.
Yeah. Work hard on fixing it.
Hey, buddy. And then as far as animals, so we saw the pigs and the chickens.
Yeah. So for the most part, if you see an animal on the farm, they're doing a job. Hi, Liz.
What's this guy doing?
But his job is just to be
To
wonderful.
be sweet.
A
Hey,
dear friend and florist of ours. She was the first florist that came onto the farm. She housed him here for a little bit, and then, very sad, she had to sell him. And so we told her.
And there's your llama
we would
over
take
there.
A llama and 2 sheep.
And how long? You said it's 27 years old?
Yeah. She's an old, sweet lady right now. She is the protector of our sheep.
Wow.
And we do rotational grazing. So all of these that you see with all of these fences, we move the sheep from pasture to pasture, and then we move them to the front. But these are working to protect our swales that we have over here. Hi, sheepies.
Look at her mouth. Now, how old will she?
I think they can live up to 30.
To 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The sheep are helping the soil, and
yep.
This is really very sandy.
Extremely sandy.
And this was actually, we had gotten it kind of reestablished this spring, but the construction crew was using this as a staging.
Oh, got it.
It's all kind of driven down to dirt again, so we have to work on
it
that.
again.
When we first moved in, the entire field looked like this, like from the back of the house all the way there, and you can see over the fences, like we've really reestablished those pastures, and the sheep have helped us do that because we practice intensive rotational grazing, so we'll graze them on an area for 3 to 4 days, and then we move them. So it helps add nutrients back to the soil, helps promote growth, and healthy pastures without having to till.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why we've done swales. So everywhere where you see fence line, we've done a swale on contour, which just means we've dug a little bit of a ditch that allows for water catchment. And that just allows there to be a little bit more ability, like a microclimate, to grow some things. So
less runoff and more water retention for the soil.
Yeah.
In the long run.
And it's been working incredibly. We've been able to establish a couple of trees because of that. And so eventually our plan is to take these goat heads and the sand and make this into such a well-nourished pasture.
So this will always remain pasture. Is that the vision at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking this space over here, we may overflow it into like a really lush greener pasture where we could mow down and do a ceremony or something. Hi, Razzie. I didn't bring you any treats, I'm sorry.
I think that's the beauty of it all, right? There's so much dreaming you can do, and that's what I love about gardening myself is and growing things, is that you grow in so many ways.
Yeah.
Which is really what our channel is about too.
Yes.
Which is called Grow You, and
oh, how awesome.
And it's really about that, right?
Yeah.
That it's much more than just gardening or growing a flower.
Right.
There's just so many things.
Yeah, I mean, our big vision is the name of our farm. We want people to gather. Mental health has been just a big issue. And we really think if we can build community more, because I come from South Africa where there is no such thing as a bubble. And you go into a store and people immediately pick up your kids and wipe their noses. Or the first time I was there with my husband and our little girl, she was 6 weeks old at the time. Hey, Margot? And we were flying on a domestic flight. And somebody asked to pick up Margot and hold her. And we said, sure. Next thing we know, Margot was passed around the entire plane. We didn't see her that whole 3-hour flight. We're like, that's like the culture that I was brought up in. You trust and you love, and sure, there's things that could happen, but it's me, like your bubbles will burst, and I just love that that sense of community. And so that was our big vision for the farm, is that if we can draw more people out in nature and together, then maybe we can just help like one person feel a little bit happier.
Oh, I love it.
And then flowers come along with that.
And then you add flowers and it's perfect.
Yeah. Flowers were the afterthoughts to the big vision that seemed to be working a greater purpose.
Wow. Anything else you'd like to share as we kind of wrap up our bouquet, or do we have more to put in the bouquet?
We're going to put up a couple more things.
Okay.
I've got some autumn joy sedum. And you'll see some things are going to droop a little bit because we've been carrying it for a while. But snip them, stick them in water. They're all going to pop right back up.
Right back up.
Yeah. So this is our perennial fields. And we have our baptisia right over here. This is also known as false indigo. And the yellow baptisia is native here to Colorado. But all of this baptisia is, some of it has been altered just to create different colors, but great drought tolerant. It has a taproot that goes down to bring nitrogen up because it's part of the pea family, and they are native to the Americas. So great plant to have. If
I have one in my garden, and I always wonder, should I cut the seeds off or leave them on?
You can leave them on. Great nourishment for animals over the winter.
Okay. But
also so fun to work with if you're doing full wreath making, or if you want to make a dried bouquet. They dry so fun, and they're kind of like a rattle. The seeds make such a nice noise that give them to kids around you and let them have fun.
And you said yellow.
So yellow is the native to Colorado. But we have over here, we have blues, pinks.
That's what I have, blue.
Pink
Pinks,
lemonade.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. On the other side, we have purple. It's they have a lot of colors, very diverse, but great for our climate, grows so well. And then autumn joy sedum over here. I don't think it's a native, but it is a drought tolerant plant. So it's another great thing for someone to have in their garden, because these are on a water line. They do tend to grow bigger than they possibly would in a back garden without added water. But this is our second year with them. Third year, we can cut off the water and allow them to water, or maybe water once a month. But because they're drought tolerant, you don't need to.
It's always to me the season. I know the season's starting to turn when these start to get color, right?
Do you see that little pink, fleshy pink over there?
It means it's happening.
Yes, it does. So I love these in a bouquet. They last
I had never thought of them in a bouquet before.
So they're one of the longest lasting flowers. Those and lizzies.
Wow.
Are one of the lasting flowers, and you can pick them in their green stage, in their pink stage, and even in their red stage. And they're great.
Fantastic.
And then over here, we have some red hot pokies, which is a native to South African plant. South Africa in the Cape has a very similar climate to Colorado, actually. It doesn't get as cold in South Africa, but it has a very dry climate in the Cape region, and so I had to grow some of these. What I'm picking now is a delphinium, and I love these. They are a toxic plant and can kill you if you eat them.
Really?
Yep. And so we didn't grow them for quite a while until we could see that our kids would no longer be eating.
Be out here munching on them.
Yep.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now, do you get yours to bloom, rebloom?
Yep. They are a short-lived perennial, so about 3 years, and they'll be out. So what we do is we are always replanting extra delphiniums. So when the others die out, we pull them, we say goodbye, and we've got ones in their place already.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let's walk through this way to the back, the front.
So bee balm over here?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We have bee balm, monarda. I love it for teas, but also in bouquets. It gives a little bit of a wildflower look. And we have some feverfew. I love it when people come to the farm because they realize that flower farming isn't all perfect and beautiful.
Right.
Like you can make perfection. It
It
can
is
be
doable.
gorgeous. However,
right.
you're amongst fallen plants and dead plants and a lot of bugs, a lot of dirt. It's not the most romantic job to have, the most glamorous job to have. But it's so rewarding. It is so rewarding.
Yes.
And so we have our peonies over here, and then we have a nigella that I'm gonna pick, which is
I had
fun.
a nigella up here in my garden
Yeah,
a couple of years ago, and now they're everywhere, which I love them.
they can self-seed.
Yeah.
Yep, just like a cosmos.
Yeah.
That's like the coolest pod when it
Yes.
dries.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have our berry patch over there that we've just extended so we can add some more berries.
So mulberries?
Raspberries and blackberries, are in there. We have some mulberry trees, but they're not in there.
Okay. And then you've got fruit
our
trees.
Orchard. Yep. Yeah. It's everything from cherries, nectarines, apricots,
Beautiful.
peaches, and apples. Yeah. And we've yet to get fruits. So we're just waiting patiently.
Just waiting patiently.
Yep.
Patience is the name of the game, right?
It is. It is.
And we're back.
I think the last things that I will let you know is that because we work with regenerative agriculture, that just means that our whole aim is to regenerate the soils, make a healthy environment for a healthy plant. So we do a lot of mulching, and our community, Frederick and Firestone, they don't have a leaf drop-off place. So we've become the community leaf drop-off place.
Wow.
So we are working with, you can see the chickens were just in here. But we are working with our community. Every fall they drop off leaves and we do something with them called black, it's a black leaf mold, I think is what we call it. And it just disintegrates. It just creates this heavy black cold compost that we then mulch with. So it's a lot of this. And that, when we lay it down and the chickens don't destroy it, that will stop the weeds. So our plan is just to keep on.
And the chickens are looking for bugs, right? Is that?
Chickens are looking for bugs, and they just love to scratch and dig. So they're not the best to have around for newer plants, but they're great to have around for established plants because they will eat the bugs. But
they eat grasshoppers.
They eat grasshoppers, and we have guinea fowl. And they love grasshoppers.
I gotta get me some chickens.
Yes.
No, is this garlic?
Egyptian walking onion.
Wow.
It's a permaculture, so we love the permaculture philosophy, and permaculture means permanent agriculture, which just basically means it's not an annual veggie garden. It's a permanent veg garden in which you can always harvest and you never have to replant. So something like Egyptian walking onions, they flower on the head, just like you see, and start growing on the head. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brand new onion starts, but their heads get heavy that they fall on the ground like that, and they're going to start a new plant right there.
Wow.
So they it's a great way to grow your onions without having to grow your onions.
Right.
They do it for
They just
you.
keep
Yep.
going over and over
Yeah,
and
so
over.
we love these guys, Egyptian walking onions.
Nice.
I think I'm going to cut cornflower over there.
Beautiful.
And then I want to show you our leaves,
Okay.
what we do with our leaves.
Fantastic.
So we had 2 of these this year. Do you see this caged leaf area? We had 2 of these, and we have filled them up about 3 times, but never emptied them. It's just that they condense over time to create a nice leaf matter.
And then you just remove the fencing.
Yep. So what we're doing now is we're removing the fencing and mulching everywhere that we've weeded. We're going to mulch nice thick layer, and we can start again next year. So in the fall, we'll open up to the public again to come and drop their leaves off.
And they just pull in here and drop them off.
They just pull in, drop off, empty their bags, and they can reuse their bags in or whatever they prefer. And we get amazing mulch from our community.
I bet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always cringe when I see my neighbors putting out plastic bags
Yeah.
of leaves. Like, no.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere for a very long time.
No. Yep. Yeah. So we've had people come just with a truckload of leaves, not even in any kind of container, and just dump it. So they've been able to even save on that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so inspiring on so many levels.
Thank you.
And look at this bouquet.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
So I do have a couple plants that I love that are, some people might argue with me. And Russian sage is one of them. But I think
I concur. I love Russian sage.
You
just have to have it in the right place.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. They grow so well in Colorado, and covered soil is what we need. I don't know if you've watched the documentary Kiss the Ground.
No.
It's something you should watch.
Yes, Kiss the Ground. Okay.
Kiss the Ground is a great documentary. It basically lines out or shows that our conventional farming methods is what is really creating a whole lot of carbon emissions, basically. So their idea is if you have good soil or covered soil, then it takes the carbon from outside and it draws it into the ground. And as soon as we are tilling our fields, that is when all of the carbon readings are the highest. And so Kiss the Ground is a great thing to watch. But that's one of the reasons why I love Russian sage, is because it will grow in our soils. It will grow in bad soil. And that means it covers the soil.
And
so
the pollinators
love it. And so if you can grow it in a good place, grow it, because it helps shade, it creates microclimates, it will help all the little critters have their own little house. These are still young. One day they're going to be massive, and I'm going to be so happy.
I have one at home that is just huge.
Yeah.
Out in the front.
But I don't think we should discriminate just because they're not native. And they're not invasive. I was reading that I don't see them on any invasive list. They're just extremely drought tolerant.
Yeah, and they grow. And they
grow.
Right.
They don't. I've never seen one self-seed. They just expand.
Right. That's what I had made the mistake of putting one in one of my garden beds.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
No, you want it to be either in a contained environment or in a place where it can spread.
Yeah, so I moved it out into our front Zen garden.
Yeah.
And it's perfect there. Oh. Perfect.
Yeah, so I love it, but then I love it for a cut flower. They last well in a vase, and they just smell so good. And they're just so pretty. Look at that airy. Isn't that stunning?
It is really stunning.
Yeah. So they're just so perfect with your oranges and your yellows to have that touch of lilac. Yeah. And then I would say my bouquet is done. So if someone orders online, this is what they would get.
Is just exactly that.
Yep, me walking the fields, finding some flowers that look beautiful together.
And you ask a few questions like you did for me up front about
Yep.
colors and
Yeah, I have some people that just they want anything, and others that say it's for an 80th birthday party, or it's for a young kid, or or I really like the color pink, and I go for those.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Liz, it has been an honor to be with you here today, and thank you so much. This bouquet, I will cherish it.
Yes, good. Right. Such a pleasure. I hope I didn't talk to high country.
No, not at all. Just really great. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Sherry.